your mindset is literally killing your health and your deen. So if you change this one way of thinking, you're going to see instant improvements in your life that you could not even believe. So before talking about that way of thinking, let's look at what is actually affecting us in the way we think and the way we behave. And I love to look at this from a more Islamic point of view. And I always think about when it comes to thinking and mindset and stuff like that, I always think about this Hadith Qudsi, that we can find where the Prophet mentioned that Allah said, I am as my servant thinks of me. And this is really powerful because what it tells us is the way we think in our day-to-day life about Allah, about this creation of Allah and how we navigate in our lives is basically how we're going to experience life. So if you're always thinking negatively about Allah, about His qadr, the way He put things in your life, it's going to be negative, right? Because your input is negativity. So obviously you're going to get negativity out of that. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ loved optimism. He was always optimistic, even in the worst of days. You need to make sure that you are working on your mindset and your thinking, because that is basically the reason you're here right now. If you're unhappy with where you are right now, you need to fix the mindset, because that's the thing that's going to get you out of here with the will of Allah, obviously. At the end of the day, the mindset, the way you're thinking is going to directly impact your behaviors. And we know the behaviors basically the wheels of your life. If you think about the mindset being the engine, being the thing that pushes you forward, the actions, what is gonna guide this vehicle either to something good or bad. So make sure to fix your mindset in order to fix your behaviors. So what is that one way of thinking that is literally killing your health and deen? It's perfectionism. The thing is with perfectionism is it's really interesting because what I've noticed with it, there's nothing productive that can come out of it. I know that some people, they say, oh, I'm a perfectionist. I want to be always trying to be the best version of myself. Well, perfectionism is not that. Perfectionism is destructive. Yes, you should always develop. You should always become better. In Arabic, you call it itqan, mastery. You should master your skills. You should master your environment, master your nafs. It's about being better, not being perfect, because nothing is perfect in this dunya. Nothing and no one can ever reach that point. Who is perfect? Allah. That's why we say subhanallah. Free is Allah from imperfection. So everything that is created by default is imperfect, which means we can never reach a state of perfection. So perfectionism is not something productive, it's not something that can help you. But the reason why it exists is because you believe that is the way you can move forward in life. Putting the bar so high, the expectations so high that you're never able to reach them, that would be the reason for you to excel and becoming better and reach for the stars, right? No, that's not how it is. Because if you're unable to reach something, eventually you're gonna get tired and you're gonna give up. Like it's very similar. If you're trying to trick an animal that you have a treat in your hand, you can do it once, twice, or thrice. But eventually this animal will get tired because they're not getting anything out of it. There's nothing that's gonna move them forward and they're basically being tricked. So perfectionism is basically lying to yourself. Putting the bar so high and saying, yeah, this is the goal, this is where I'm going to reach. But either you reach it and you move the goalpost, or you put it so far away that you're unable to reach it. And this is the issue. Because what happens? What is the consequence of this? Like I said previously, and that's why I said it, the way you're thinking is going to affect your behaviors. So if your behaviors is always that it needs to be perfect, that means it's an on and off switch. It's either what you say perfect or it's nothing at all. So you have nothing in between. That's why I see a lot of clients when I work with them, if they're not praying on time or not praying at all, or if they're out of shape physically, usually what have caused this is their way of thinking in terms of perfectionism, that they say, okay, I need to pray all 5 prayers on time. I need to pray all the sunnah. I need to do all dhikr. I need to read Quran 2 hours a day. And they put all of these, it sounds really good. Like it's really motivating when you're talking about it. Sure. But there's a difference between having a vision and having a reality. And the best part is having the vision as close as possible to your reality so you're able to reach it. Because if you can reach it, you can always improve it. So let's say you want to start reading Quran and you start with reading 1 ayah per day. That's a vision and it's realistic. Like I cannot imagine anyone that cannot do it, like 1 verse of the Quran. So now you're doing it consistently every single day. Now this becomes your new standard. This becomes your new normal. It doesn't feel like something, wow, I've achieved something. It's your new normal. So what happens? You can actually achieve more. So you start with going from 1 verse to reading 2 verses. Now, it's not a big jump. Actually, it is 100% increased. But it actually makes sure that okay, you have a standard, a default that you're always reading, one verse, but you're trying to reach a new level, two verses. The outcome is either you're going to be unable to do it, so you go back to reading one verse, or you're able to do it and you reach a new normal. You see what happens here? In both cases, in both situations, you're a winner. You're still reading Quran. Like no matter what's happening, you're still reading the Quran. And this is the same with anything in life. I usually talk about fitness and faith because I really love the idea of working and excelling in those areas, because when you do that, like no one can take that away from you. Sure, you can get all the money in the world, but they can take it from you. You can crash your car, you can whatever, but your health is always with you and your faith is always with you. That if you would be stranded on an island, you wouldn't care about having a Ferrari there. You would only care to have a healthy body that would help you survive the day and have a strong faith that would make sure that you can overcome any difficulty. Isn't that what a strong believer is? Well, the Prophet said that the strong believer is more beloved to Allah than a weak believer. And this is something that scholars have mentioned. The strength here of a believer is not only his faith, but also his body, because these things go hand in hand. Many things we do in terms of faith, fasting, praying, going to Hajj, and all the other things like providing for our family, going to work, we need our bodies to do this, right? So we need to have a strong body to be able to do that. That's why I see a lot of Muslims, they suffer because they don't have the strong body. They don't have that strong faith. So what happens? Their children looking at them and they don't have any role models to look up to. So that will eventually create a weak society, a weak community, which is actually the hadith the Prophet mentioned that the disbelievers, the nations will come upon the Muslim nation and grab anything they want. Like when you invite the guest to dinner and they just pick the food from the plate. And when the Sahaba heard this, they asked him, Prophet of Allah, what are you saying? Is this because we're so few that day? And he said, no, rather you will be many that day, but you will be disunited and weak, just like the foam on the ocean. SubhanAllah, if you think about it, the way you're thinking right now, the way you navigate through life is actually what is causing your life to be what it is. And it will actually have consequences, not only for you, but for your spouse, for your environment, and for your children. SubhanAllah, this is something we all will be responsible for. I'm not saying to be perfect. Like Prophet mentioned another hadith, strive to be near perfection. About the hadith that the deen is easy, that whoever overburdens themselves in the religion will not be able to continue. But we should not just be lazy instead and procrastinate, which is the other side of it, the other extreme of this, but to strive to come close to perfection, to put the bar high, but within reach, so that you can always master and level up as a Muslim in this dunya. And so actually, this is something I talk a lot about with my clients. And look, if you feel, by the way, that you're stuck when it comes to your mindset, take a look at one of the videos I've done, a masterclass breakdown of my 5-pillar protocol that I teach my clients. And there are 5 pillars to become a stronger Muslim, basically, consistent Muslim. And it's fixing your eating, fixing your exercise, fixing your habits, fixing your mindset, and having the support you need. This is the 5-pillar protocol I help with my clients to apply in their life. This video is free. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. I put a link down below and watch it, use it, apply it in your life. If you watch through the whole video and you find yourself, okay, look, this sounds great, but I really need some help. I need some personal help. I need someone to dedicate themselves to push me through this. Like I'm a Muslim coach, basically, right? I would love to see and find out if I can help you. So watch the whole video and go to the description. You can book a call. There's a link there and we can talk about it. Free consultation, no strings attached. And I see if I can help you out and what that could look like. If I can't, at least I can point you in the right direction. At least so we can start building up our lives and fixing our lives, right? This is the most important part because this life is temporary. And whatever we do in this life is going to be permanent. And we're going to find out how that looks like in the next life. So long time. May Allah help us and forgive us for everything we've done and accept our good deeds. So may Allah forgive us all for our mistakes and help us to become better Muslims, better spouses, better parents for our children. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to see more stuff like this. See you in the next video, inshallah.